Nurture and support begins in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to another episode of Nurture and Support. This is episode 99. I am Mel at Karmic9 on Twitter. We have a special guest this week. You know, I'll always know we love that. But to introduce our guest and to give you a little bit of news, here's Kelly.
Hi, everybody. It's Kelly. I'm at KELLYTHUL on Twitter. And joining us for the second time is Karen Toole.
Hey. Hello again.
No relation.
Yeah. Absolutely none.
So glad to have you back, Karen. And then excited. So it makes 99 special. And then what we're really super excited about, not that we're we're very super excited you're with us, to clarify. But next week, it'll be our 100th episode of Nurture and Support. So Mel and I have been working to kind of put something special together for that. We put so much special together that episode 100 will be a two-parter. We'll release the first part next
Dramatic.
week. Yes, it's a thing. So it'll be in two parts. You'll get the first part next week, and then it'll wrap up the following week. It'll be super fun. You're gonna hear from a lot of familiar faces. I think we can probably kind of fill you in a little bit on it. We're gonna have like a March Madness type of tournament with our picks, and we're gonna have our friends kind of join us and help us work our way through that. And just so you know, Karen, one of your picks from previous show is in the thing, so we'll have to see how that does.
I expect it to do super well. My picks are golden.
Okay, fair enough. They're all good.
I mean, yeah.
They're all winners.
Yeah, and for everyone out there that doesn't know what March Madness is, you know, because they're sports impaired like I am, Kelly will explain it all to you next week. Don't worry if you don't understand now. He'll let you know how it works next week.
Yeah, exactly. Just think lots of picks, chance to review some of the old recommendations, lots of visitors, friends of the show, and some fun. And Mel and I, on occasion, threatening guests. That's about it. So,
yep.
What more can you ask for?
So coolness and awesomeness abound.
Yep.
So with that out of the way, it's my turn to start off this week. And I have a super quick recommendation for everyone. This website is essentially, I guess they're just called an online marketplace. It's a website called Fiverr.com, and that's Fiverr.com. It's been around for years. Many of you may have already heard of it, but I don't know if any of you have really used it. I've known about it for a while, but I've never actually utilized their services. So basically what it is a marketplace for normal people like me who may not know how to get in touch with a freelancer type person to do any sorts of little small jobs that you need done. You don't know where to find them. You know, you Google, but how do you know who these people are or recommendations on them or anything like that? So Fiverr is a website, among some others that have cropped up, where independent freelancing people can get on there and sell gigs, what they call gigs on Fiverr. And you may have guessed by the name that a gig starts out at $5. And then the person adds extras that you can tack on. So there's all sorts of things up there. My particular interest was looking in the graphic design section because most of us who are artistically challenged, among our particular group tonight, that would be me, because we all know that Karen is a graphic artist and Kelly's not too bad himself, but I am terribly impaired in the artistic department. And so if you want to have a t-shirt made, or you want to get a particular little graphic made for a birthday card you wanted to design for somebody, or you just want to have a particular picture made just for yourself to put on anything that you want, or to even put on your avatar on Twitter, you can go there, and for really not very much, considering someone draws you something fresh out of their brain, you can buy something like that there. You tell the people what you want, and they do their best to give it to you. You have so many revisions. Every little gig is different. Every artist is different. But the cool thing is there are reviews up there from people who have used these people before with samples of all the stuff that they've done. So particularly what I spent time looking on there was in the graphic design section, which has a whole lot of people and appeared to be doing pretty brisk business up there. So I was surprised at just how many and how busy some of these people were. But you get all sorts of information about approximate their average turnaround time on how fast they get something back, their average response time, because this isn't something that's just in the US. This is a global marketplace. There are people from all over the world on there, and it will tell you what languages they speak so that you can communicate with them more effectively, because there's quite a few people on there that English is a second language for them. So if you happen to know whatever their native language is, you might have an easier time speaking with them. But the graphic design section is only one of many. There are some, if you need help with a website and you don't know where to go, there's whole sections on that that you can look through. And like I said, there's reviews. And that's always helpful when you can go and you can do a little bit of limited research on some of the stuff people have put up and check on, who's doing their reviews. There's profiles when you join. But when you join up for an account at Fiverr, you're also joining up to not only buy, but you're also setting yourself up. If you had a service you wanted to sell to the world, you could sell it as well. But anything you can imagine is up there, from virtual assistants to help you do internet research, if that's something that you need to do for, I know a lot of indie writers from my Twitter time. So if that's something that you're looking to do, there's all sorts of virtual assistants up there, all sorts of things. You also get into some of the sketchier practices, which I guess are legal, but
You guess are legal.
I assume they're legal because they're up there in clear view for anybody in the world and the internet to see, are buying reviews for things. That's no different than commercials you see on TV where in tiny little print at the bottom it says it's a paid advertisement. You can get on there and buy a testimonial video from someone, an authentic testimonial video. So basically you pay these people and they'll make a video. If you've created some sort of product and you want to put a website up and sell it, you can get on Fiverr and pay someone to make you a testimonial video telling the world how much they love your product. They don't even know what it is. But I would assume you need to send them one so they can feature it in their video, but that's probably not always true.
So you're telling me
we could go buy iTunes reviews on Fiverr, Kelly.
Or if we had each thrown in $20, we just could have had 8 testimonial videos for our 100th episode.
That would have been great.
Strung them together. Would have been a little less work than what we did.
Yes.
Do it for the podcast in general. It'd be so funny.
Yeah. So, that to me, there's that stuff that borders on, well, it's dishonest, but I would presume an honest person would put up a paid advertisement thing there. But I have heard of this site being used in particular by people buying reviews on Amazon and Goodreads and things like that for their independent books. Since I tend to be more in that community, I have heard of that particular dishonest practice being used. But they're up there free, up there on the website for you to go look if that's something that you're looking to do. I'm not condoning it. I'm just telling you it's there. There are far more awesome things like the entire graphic design section. I liked looking through there, just looking at all the different artwork that people had put up. But if you are wanting to find somebody to make an app for you, there's all sorts of things, people doing that. There are people that may not be able to make an app, but they can sure draw you some cool critters to use in whatever game you're trying to put in an app. It was interesting and it was cool. I've known about this website for a long time, but I've never actually gone in and messed around and actually used it. So I had a positive experience there. And I figured it's something a lot of normal people like me might want to do. If you're having a family reunion, or you have a sports club, or you have something like that you want to have a logo or a mascot or something made to put on t-shirts, this is a place that you could go to if you don't know anybody that has that talent, or you're talentless like me. So Fiverr.com has some interesting stuff that can get into a gray area, but there are perfectly good, legitimate reasons to be looking at stuff over there. So I think it's a place, if you have a need, to go look. Just don't go buy book reviews or testimonial videos, because that's just not cool.
Well, Scott Stratton on Marketing the Unpodcast, he and Allison Kramer, they used Fiverr for their introduction because they had a movie voice guy kind of doing in a world where, and so he did the whole intro, and they did, they got it for $5 and was great, and they get to hear their names, and so I'm just thinking that somehow there's a Sean Schick is a jerk movie introduction thing and movie voice thing that I need to get done. So.
Yeah, and I meant to mention that I saw a few for voiceovers. You could spend hours and hours and hours looking at all sorts of different interest topics of freelancing people out there all over the world that are offering these services, and they give you as much information as you could hope for to try and whittle down your choices to who you think would be a good match. So a lot of them have examples. Some of them also have links to their Twitter accounts and their actual web pages and stuff for you to get more information about the actual person that you're going to give money to. But every gig starts at $5, and then they add extras, like in the graphic design one. $5 will get you a basic black and white line sketch of whatever you're looking for on almost all of them. And then if you want it colored, you tack on a few more dollars, but still it's relatively inexpensive if you're looking for something. So I thought it was pretty neat, pretty interesting. I know a lot of regular Joe people like me don't know about a place like that, so I thought I would mention it for everyone out there.
Is PayPal? Is it a PayPal deal or?
They take PayPal. You can put in, I think, your actual credit card information, or they take Bitcoin, though we'll see how long Bitcoin lasts. It was still up as for a few days ago. They were still taking Bitcoin, but I didn't try it. I used PayPal. Okay. PayPal, the safer way to pay.
Excellent. All right, Karen, I think you're up.
All right. Well, I'll start it off by saying I'm a super big fan of Halloween, so my recommendation kind of segues into that. So I'm recommending this really cool game called Costume Quest, and it's a game you can play on PC, PlayStation, whatever. It's absolutely adorable. So the concept of it is you're these two fraternal twins, I think it's like Ren and Reginald or something like that, and you're going out trick-or-treating for the evening as you do. But like the thing with it is all of your costumes that you wear translate to kind of turn-by-turn combat that you can do. So, for example, if you're in a robot costume and you encounter an enemy that you're fighting, it'll like start up a combat sequence, and then your adorable little cardboard robot costume becomes like this mega decked out looking fighter version of it.
Cool.
So that's kind of like the bare bones of it, but it kind of expands as you further the gameplay, and you kind of get more funny costumes as you go. So you can be a piece of candy corn, which is useless. You can be, I think Thomas Jefferson is in the first one. He like throws like ink quills at people. I think you can be French fries.
Okay.
You just clog people's artery.
Yeah. You actually turn into like a French fry spider, which is interesting. I don't know, whatever. So it's really, really, really cute, and like the dialogue of it's kind of just adorable and witty. So the whole point of it is you're kind of going around your neighborhood. There's like these kind of candy-obsessed monsters who have populated it and are taking all the candy from all the children. So you're going house to house trying to defeat all these different monsters as the gameplay. And they have a lot of cute little side quests, like so you have to be Thomas Jefferson to get into like a political party, essentially. So there's like one house of like children that are having like a America's Great Party, and you can't get in without like a political or American themed costume, so you have to find that costume as you go. So it's adorable.
That's pretty neat. That sounds good. I think that's cool. So did you have a second one?
I do. So I guess to transition from the political bit, I was just up in Chicago this weekend visiting one of my friends, and she's a huge like Broadway person. So she recommended to me, I don't know if you've heard of it yet, this musical Hamilton. and it's off Broadway right now, but super, super popular. And it's about Alexander Hamilton, but it's a hip-opera.
Hip-Hopera.
Hip-opera.
We have had so many hip-hopera recommendations
I know,
on this. I'm sorry.
Like, it's been
We're getting repetitive.
oversaturated.
Yeah.
A little bit. So it's written by, I just lost his name, Lin-Manuel Miranda. He wrote it. He stars in it as Hamilton. He also wrote the book for it. So he's just super involved in the project. And he basically started because he read a biography on Alexander Hamilton. He's like, this guy's so interesting. How has no one, like, not written a piece of theater or hip opera about him? So, yeah. So he, like, took on that project. He's like, yeah, this is a great idea. And kind of, like, he infuses rap and kind of, like, R&B style singing into it. Like, there's, like, a trio of sisters called the Schuyler Sisters that are very, like, Destiny's Child. And it's just such an interesting take, and it works really well because it's a lot of, like, there's one scene where just, like, rap works perfectly for it. There's, like, a session of Congress where they kind of frame it as a rap battle. So, and it's perfect because it's like, okay, Hamilton, you have like 60 seconds to tell me why this like tax reform is a great idea, and then he's like spits out why it's a great idea, and then Jefferson's like, no, and has like his portion where he like responds to it, just rap battle style, and it's just hilarious, but also just like really well done. So it's a really cool musical. They do a great job with the casting of it because his big thing was like, I want to tell the story of America then with who is America now, was like the makeup diversity of America now. So it's a great musical. It's about like 2 hours for the soundtrack, which worked out really well for me since I was driving back to Chicago.
Okay, so you get the soundtrack like on iTunes.
Yeah, you can
now?
get the soundtrack on iTunes. I just kind of got off of Apple Play. I don't know if it's on Spotify or things like that, but
we will. Mel's good at finding that kind of information out.
I do like Spotify.
So we'll chase that down.
But yeah, I definitely recommend it if you have like a long commute or just like the time to listen to it, because it just sits really well as a piece on its own, detached from the actual musical.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of get the whole story of it just from the soundtrack.
So we saw Book of Mormon.
Mm-hmm.
So would you say if it was like a cleaned up, non blasphemous?
I would say it's like different from that because it's definitely funny, but it's really serious and gets like it has emotion to it too.
Oh.
Like they don't kind of use the style of music as like, haha, now this is like kind of a parody of it. They use it as a vehicle to kind of just like pull like the real dialogue from like letters that Hamilton would have written or Jefferson would have written or like Washington and stuff like that. So they just use it as like a cool way to like, it fits really well with how they talk in a strange way. Just because it's very like articulative, you're calculated with what you're saying. It's like you can add some like really cool drama by putting it in rap. So it's like, I'd say it's like a dramedy.
Huh.
Well, it definitely sounds interesting. I might learn something.
Exactly.
I can't say that was my favorite point in history.
Yeah, just like the base of it sounds like something like a teacher would come up and be like, let's make Hamilton cool, we'll add some rap. But then it was done really well.
Yeah, it seems like there are a lot of ways that could go wrong.
Yeah.
But it also sounds like it's not the case here. So very cool.
I don't know. I don't know if you can beat the rap battle between
Groot and
yeah, that one was good too, but I still love the Walter White versus Rick Grimes one.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, that's good.
That one's I love that one. I watched it again the other day.
Yeah. That one's fun, and then of course Groot and Hodor.
That was a good one.
It's a good one as well. Excellent. Well, now I feel bad. I am recommending a Randy Newman album this week, and there were two that I was considering. And had I gone with the first one, I would have had a wonderful segue because, and this is something that Karen's also familiar with, is that Randy Newman is quite the rapper. in Master Man and Baby J, he rocks out pretty good, and that's on Land of Dreams. But that's not the recommendation for this week. So just a little spoiler for a future recommendation. But maybe Randy Newman should have been in the Hip-Hopera.
I mean, he could have been a pretty cool founding father.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, Or like the king. Actually, he could have been a really cool King George. He essentially has like a breakup song with America in the musical. It's pretty great.
Excellent. Yeah, that would with Randy.
Perfect. He would have been great with that.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll have to drop him a note. See if he can pick that up. But what I am going to recommend is, because I'd like to stay contemporary, a 1972 album by Randy Newman, "Sail Away."
I wasn't even alive.
But Randy was. And Randy was making good music for you to listen to
when I finally entered the world.
That was a present for you. You have known no world without "Sail Away."
There you go.
You are a lucky, lucky person. Early in his career, but it is really kind of chocked full of, if you're a Randy Newman fan, some of his just strongest stuff, and it just doesn't stop in terms of going through. "Sail Away," and a lot of these songs have been done as covers by different folks and tended to sell better when somebody else sang them, which is poor Randy, but he still gets money for it, so that's okay. But "Sail Away" is basically a song sung from the point of view, and Newman always kind of does the kind of cracked narrator approach where the point of view is coming typically from a person that's pretty flawed in one way or another, and it's commentary on that, but kind of coming from that person's point of view. And "Sail Away" is basically the sales pitch to get the folks in Africa to come onto the slave ship, and it's a very deceptive song in terms of how awesome it's going to be. Come to America, sail away with me, and you're going to love it. So it's just a really cool song on that. Then it goes into "Lonely at the Top," which is just a song about how difficult it is to be incredibly awesome, that he actually wrote for Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra passed, but it's another song out there as well. Simon Smith and His Amazing Dancing Bear is a wonderful song about, I think it's fairly self-explanatory.
Simon Smith and His Dancing Bear.
Then it goes into kind of the next side where some fairly interesting songs come in there. Political Science, Let's Drop the Big One, which is just basically a song about we're America and everybody hates us, so maybe we should just blow them up. And so it's a happy song about that. It's
applicable till today as well.
Yeah, and he talks about, we'll save Australia, don't want to hurt no kangaroo. We'll build an all-American amusement park there. They got surfing too. And and then boom goes London, boom Paris, more room for you and more room for me. So it's a very it's a very uplifting kind of thing.
Upbeat.
So, yeah, and he keeps the upbeat coming when he turns to the next song, which is called "Burn On," which is about the Cuyahoga River in Ohio. The Cuyahoga River runs near Cleveland and has the distinction of catching fire on occasion because it's so polluted. So "Burn On" is a song about the river burning on.
And we wonder why the rest of the world hates us.
We have a river that catches fire.
That's okay. Where I am, we have water that comes out of the tap that catches on fire. So.
Oh, extra fun.
I know.
So how's that happen?
Well, with all the drilling, occasionally the natural gas gets into the wells.
Oh.
But try proving that to any of the authorities. It's never happened to me. It's just something that can happen. And then they condemn your well. And you have no water to drink because you're not in city limits. That's okay, though. That's a political commentary for another time.
So if I'm piecing this together, no water, no internet, the sun. Are you allowed to have the sun, Mel?
I can have the sun because it's free.
Okay.
Yes. They haven't taxed me for the sun yet.
Excellent. Randy Newman should write a song about that.
I know.
Yeah.
There's another song called "Memo to My Son," which again is sung from the point of view of it's a father singing to his son about, just wait. There's so much awesome stuff I'm going to tell you, and you're going to be so lucky to hear all my wisdom. So it becomes incredibly evident that this guy While he has a very high opinion of what wisdom he's going to impart, he's not got a lot to go to. His A game is a winner never quits, a quitter never wins. When the going gets tough, the tough get going, and that's about it. So that's his A game. But it's just, again, really, really kind of cool. Another really good song called "You Can Leave Your Hat On," which Joe Cocker covered, and it was really very cool. And then to end on the highest of all upbeat notes, God's song, "That's Why I Love Mankind," where it's basically God going, what I like about these guys the most is I can flood them, I can set everything on fire, I can destroy them, and they keep praying to me. And so he's kind of this monster that delights in Holocaust, and so it's a special thing.
Fun times.
And but it's a great song, and so there's just it's all got these kind of nice wry observations, well constructed stuff. The Randy Newman, particularly of this era, primarily piano. Rich music, but fairly simple and straightforward. But it's just, top to bottom, this album has a lot of neat little treasures on it. And so, had not recommended this before, felt this would be a good one to throw out. More Randy Newman to come, but of all the Randy Newman stuff out there, this would be the place I would start, because it's really solid.
And this album was called what again?
Sail Away by Randy
Sail
Newman.
Away. All right. I'm going to have to look that one up. It sounds like it's up my alley.
Yes, you won't find it in the chipper section.
I don't do much chipper, so sounds good. All right. So, surprise, surprise, I don't have a social media recommendation this week. Do either of you?
I do not.
No, I don't either.
But that's part of Yep, we that's part of a pre-show kind of. So you got 2 recommendations, Karen. That'll average us out. We're good there then. So
works.
One additional recommendation equals three social media recommendations, so we're good.
Yeah.
So as a reminder, everybody, next week, episode 100 of Nurture and Support starts Recommendation Madness. Be sure and tune in, and would love to kind of hear your thoughts on that as it goes, and that'll be 2 weeks of wonderfulness there. We're about to, so we didn't go to Fiverr. We went to You'll Get Nothing and Like It-er to get Mr. Matt Shivers to do our voiceover. So we're going to hand it over to Matt in a second to give you all the particulars on how you can connect with Nurture and Support. And I'd like to thank Karen for joining us. Thank you, Karen.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Thank you.
And thanks, everybody, for listening.
You can contact us on our website, nurtureandsupport.net, or email us at nurtandsupp@gmail.com. That's NURTANDSUPP@gmail.com, or tweet us at nurtandsupp on Twitter. You can also catch Nurture and Support on YouTube. Just search Nurture and Support or Kelly Toole.
Nurturing and supporting Terminated.